guest is already here. Mr. Isaac Ige, we see you. God will bless you, sir. Thank you for joining us. So uh, if there are questions, you can just unmute yourself and let's have the questions. From the previous weeks, we spoke about data science, data analysis, we spoke about cyber security, we spoke about app web development and all of those things. So I still ask again, are there questions? Have we tried out anything yet? What is our observation so far? Did you try to start out any training or any course so far? Or you are just, once we finish, you drop your training material, whatever you are using to join us until the upper Thursday again? I hope we're taking actionable steps.
Good evening, sir. As regards the cybersecurity, you sent a link for a training on the platform.
Yes, sir.
Anytime I tried joining that class and I enter my mail, it knocks me off. I don't know why. It keeps knocking me off.
Okay. Have you tried using another email?
No. Maybe after today's class, I'll use my Yahoo mail.
Yes, use another email. Then try it on your system too. Are you doing it on your system or from your phone?
Yes, I use my system.
Just try a different email and see.
It's all right.
It's supposed to work. The other person that tried it has even finished the course already.
Oh.
And that Cisco certificate is quite it's very respected actually. So let's try.
Yeah. All right, I'll try it again after this class and I'll let you know how it goes.
No problem. Just hit me on WhatsApp if it's different.
All right, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, boss. So I'm still here for questions. We will commence. I'll allow our guests speak to us from around 8:15. So we still have a few minutes to ask some questions. So Mr. Isaac Igez,
No, sir.
Okay, go on. I thought somebody wanted to speak.
I don't know, I'm muted, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, go on, Mama. Go on. Yeah.
So it's not like me that I'm just familiarizing myself with computer. Which of these should I really go for? I don't like calculation, actually. It pisses me off.
Okay, if you don't like calculation, stay away from data science or data analysis, any of whatever you call it. Okay, even at that, with what we're going to do today, you still need to have some idea around programming. So I think the area you should even focus more is maybe around cybersecurity. Although there's still a little bit of technicality around cybersecurity, but there's what we call GRC, governance, risk, and something. C means another thing actually. So you can be in that space. You can have a lot of ideas around how to keep systems safe and necessarily not have technical ideas or knowledge, and that will still be of value to you. So just my advice is maybe you start from, maybe you can do cybersecurity, take cybersecurity, because I'm sure that if you start the training, it will start you from the beginning, from the basic, and so you will just grow into all of it. There is penetration testing, there are other technical stuffs around cybersecurity. But if you start from the onset, from that basic, you go into it and it will make sense as you go on, rather.
Okay.
So the IT space is, you find it's not really like the accountants will have it when you do a lot of calculations. It's not something in that line, but there's still a lot of technicalities around programming. If you want to be a data analyst, for example, if you just have to learn how to you have to be good with your statistics. If you want to go into app slash web development, you need some level of knowledge around programming, and programming is in fact, should I say, as technical as your mathematics too. So maybe that cybersecurity will help. I don't know if I provided answer to that, but just I'm sure you have been following. So when we are done with the course, you should be able to go back and analyze all of the things that we've talked about and see the one that you can um you can roll with. Okay, so I will invite the guest to start now because he has another meeting by 9. So he has to leave this call by 9. So Isaac is a colleague and very, very learned. So I expect us to, pay very close attention to um, this program this evening so that, you can make sense out of what is going to teach us tonight. So, Mr. Isaac, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Isaac. Can we all hear me?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Isaac.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you from here, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So good to be here. Thank you, Sir Ferdinand, for the invite. Going to be a brief one, and then it's going to be very, very interactive. I will need everyone's voice or voices. Or if you cannot speak, you can just, respond via chat. That way, I would know we are together. Okay, so as a disclaimer, in case you hear pom 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 or something like that, I'm on the road actually, but I'm here. Okay. To start with, so today we'll be looking at, briefly looking at cloud computing and what you need to get started, what it is not, and so on and so forth. But before we go on, my sister that said she doesn't like calculation, she said it pisses you off. Why? Why does it piss you off? Or you believe it pisses you off?
I don't know. I just have this phobia and I do pass it too. That's one funny thing about me. But I don't like cramming, and it goes about it has formula. The moment you know the formula, you don't have problem about it. It's even easier. Like I do tell people, but because I don't like cramming, I like to read and understand whatever I'm studying. Maybe that's why I don't like calculation.
Okay, so before we even go into cloud and all, one thing we have to know is we need to remove any embargo, right? Any embargo that has been placed or that we have placed, this is how I always think, or this is how it has always been. So I think this is how it's going to be. No, that's really not how it's going to be. Especially in the tech space, right? Unless you are doing core, even development, you might not need mathematics that much, right? Contrary to the general opinion, the regular opinion that everybody has, that you need, it's not like you're going to be solving maths, right? It's just basic understanding of it. Just like what you said, that when you know the formula, you're good to go. And that's how it is. For instance, you're writing a code that calculates, what is it called now? Almighty formula. That's quadratic formula. You don't need to, it's not literally step by step, step by step. Okay, you know the formula, you save things into variable and then you calculate it. So I need you to remove that mindset, so to say, of I don't like calculation, because you calculate money now. You save your money, you remove expenses, you do. So it is as basic as that. So when you remove that thought process, you're open to opportunity. As I believe anybody can do anything. And it's not even, I'm not trying to sound like a motivational speaker, but it is the truth. When it comes to tech, you can do anything. Now, the number of months, weeks, years to take people might now differ. One person can pick it up and within 2-3 weeks, they started doing some things. Another person can pick it up and then it will take a month. Some persons can take 6 months. Does not mean they can't do it, right? So that way, you know that you're open to opportunity. Now, how you will get there now differs. That's what I wanted to say first. Now, are we all together before we go into the business of the day?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Your screen is visible, sir.
All right, sir. Okay, so introduction to cloud computing. Cloud computing. Nobody should go online. Nobody should go and do anything, but I'm going to be called. Are we all at home or some people are on the road? Because if I call you, so you can tell us what you think. Don't do any search. Don't check anywhere. Don't use ChatGPT or Chats FYZ. Just what do you think cloud computing is? What have you heard about cloud computing? Does anyone want to go or should I start calling names? Don't worry, I'm going to call names. It's not okay. Mr. Olatubosun. Please go on.
Yes, cloud computing is a platform. The platform which users and vendors can host websites, host documents, folders, infrastructures, anything technology on
Okay.
the web.
On the web. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. That's actually on point. Yes. Any other person? Any other idea? I'm sure we've heard of cloud computing in the past. Let me call one person. Let's see. Who has not spoken today? Oluwatosin, Emmanuel, and Oluwabukola. I don't hear their voices today. Any idea before we go on? Going, gone. Okay. But are they here? Those three people I called, are they here? Body, soul, and spirit.
So let's unmute ourselves and respond. But if you cannot, if you are in a noisy place, you can drop a chat
Just
now.
drop the chat.
Just drop
Yeah,
a chat.
right. Okay, so
We are here, sir.
all right, Mr. Smart. Now, so when we say cloud computing, we are just here to debunk the whole special terminologies and all. Basically, you're saying you're operating your laptop on the internet. You know, the things you can do on your own laptop, let's say Mac OS, Windows, Linux, anything. You can create a user on your laptop. I'm bringing it down as low as possible. You can create a user on your laptop. You can create certain firewall rules. Maybe we should not go into that side, but you can install applications, right? You can do things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can configure local IP addresses. You can configure public IP address. You can do all those. You can have multiple storage. You know, the way you would have your laptop, you have a C drive, right? Excuse me. You have a C drive. Your C drive is probably like 500 gig. And then you have another drive attached to it. It's very, very possible. I'm sure we've seen things like that. Maybe E or D drive. That one can be like 1 TB. And then you have a flash drive, an external flash drive that you attach to it. To that one, you use it for movies and all those activities. You're shifting responsibilities. When you say cloud computing, you're shifting responsibility. You are taking off that load and giving it to another person entirely. In most cases, not all cases now. In most cases, you're looking for a company that's what they provide, that's their services. You just say, okay, I need 500 gigabyte of space. I need this application installed. I need that. I need security. I need what do you call security stuff now? Antivirus. I need this. I need that on that. on the platform, and they would provide it for you, and you'll be able to operate such system. It can be a laptop, it can be personal computer, for instance, it can be a server, right? So basically, that's what cloud computing is. Your ability to be able to operate, just like what our brother said earlier, operate things that you regularly would not be able to do. As a matter of fact, your laptop can be very, very low. Your personal laptop can be something around 4 GB of RAM, and then you have 500, let's even say 256 gig of space, and you are just somewhere, you're sitting down and you feel, I have money. I need something more than this to be able to write my coding, to be able to do everything I need to do. Okay, I think I can buy space on Google. And then you go ahead and just buy whatever it is you're buying, and boom, you're operating, you are connecting to that system from your own small system, so to say, and you are running things that your system would not run. Things like Visual Studio, things like Android Studio, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's just like having a copy, right? So are we together? So let's go on. So the agenda is basically what is called cloud computing, types of cloud computing, benefits, cloud service model, deployment model, common cloud providers, use cases, and challenges, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I believe we're together. Before I go on, do we have any question? At any point, if you have any question, please just stop me so we will. It has to be interactive at any point. Okay.
Yes, I have a question, sir.
Okay, go on.
Yes, sir. Cloud computing, is it all about www dot one website, or does this necessarily, can it be an application, a mobile application?
Okay. Okay, I'll answer. So I didn't know whose name was, who was, sorry, who is that? So I would know how to address us by our name. So we'll just Latubos. Okay, then I'm seeing a question here too. Is it about storing information to be retrieved? Can we have the recording? Okay, that's
Yeah,
for
the recording will be available. Don't worry.
okay. So let me answer Mr. Olatumboson's question. Is it all about www? Nope. And we'll soon get there, right? There are different types. And then when we say again, I brought it, I said your own computer. Everything you do on your computer, you can have it on the cloud, right? On your system, as a matter of fact, so many times you don't have internet, you don't have flash drive or anything to connect to the internet, but you can still switch on your system, you can still play games, you can watch movies. As basic as that, I'm saying you can have a replica. Do you get? You can have a replica of your laptop. I don't want to use servers and all those technical things now. Your local machine, you can have a replica of it on the internet, or something even more than that. You are in, sorry, in case you're in Ikorodu, but I just wanted to use Ikorodu. No offense. You are in Ikorodu, Ibeshi, somewhere. You are operating, you are using Glow, very slow. But then your service, whatever it is you have online, is using Starlink, Shaprapra, everything. And then people would, wow, we can access your application. So to say you've deployed an application on your own cloud computer. And then we can have access your application. Don't worry. That's how stars do. Of course, it is not your own system rendering it now. It is another party. So it's not all about www. You can store things. I'll start asking if it's just for information storage. No. In fact, by the time we get to types, you would see different, and then I will explain further. No, you can do much more than that. Okay, so when we say history, well, we talked about definition, but when we say history of cloud computing has been around for a while, for quite a while, as early as the 50s, 1950, Let me just quickly, for the next 2 minutes, let me just quickly run you through how, if anybody studied computer science here, they would agree with what I want to explain. And the way computing started, they were using shared computer. Back then, a computer, mainframe computer, can be as big as a building. Well, it has an exaggeration, but can be as big as a car, right? Quite big. And then very, very expensive. Double very, very, very expensive. So most people, most communities could not even afford it. So you see it around where you see computer, you see it in a big school, not primary school now. Saying university, very, 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 very expensive thing. You see it in the school, you see it maybe in a local government, you see it in maybe White House. So it's as rare as that. So what people do is, forgotten the terminology now. There's one word for it. You buy time, more like, you know, the way back then when you have cafe, cyber cafe, right? Oh, sorry. When you have cyber cafe, that you go to cyber cafe to go and to go and buy time. That's how they were doing it back then. So people will go there and then buy time and then use the functionalities of that computer at that point in time. So in a way, that is what we are modeling now for cloud computing. There is this, okay, so to bring it down, to draw it to a close completely, multiple people can connect to one system at that point in time. So multiple users, they're sitting in their own terminal. They call it terminals, but you have to be in a location, and then somebody is running basic command. Another person is trying to run Excel. Excel is not Excel. Excel was not alive then, but just for an example, different applications, and then they are doing it. So that's what we have now as cloud computing. So it has been around for a very, very long time, and it has been evolving. So that's basically how it started, gradually. Now we have cloud as in cloud. Now, what are the key characteristics on demand self-service? That means for the example I gave earlier, you are in your cubicle somewhere. You can tell the service provider what you want, the way you want it, your specifications, so far you have the money, and it's actually relatively cheap. So far you have the money, you can customize it to your own taste. I want my processor to be this fast. I want my RAM to be this size, this make, that, and so on and so forth. I want my ROM, that's your drive, to be this size, this make, this generation, and so on and so forth. I don't want HDD, I want SSD. You can do all those things. So on demand, as you need it, you can always, and then broad network access anywhere you are. So far there's internet access, you can resource pooling. That means multiple people are using the same thing. So that means you don't have to necessarily pay for something so expensive, because so the way the way the way Uber works, is it Uber or Bolt now, that you can do shared ride. If the ride is supposed to be 11,000, if you share it together, you can pay like 2,500 or 3,000. So that's, and so on and so forth. Rapid elasticity and then measured services. I think I saw a message popping. What's in between cloud and Google Drive? Oh, okay, let's answer that. So the difference, well, Google Drive is an example of cloud, and that's not all there is. Okay, maybe that was why you were asking if all we do there is save things. No, you do much more than that. So Google Drive is an example, like a type, not necessarily a type. Save is an example, not a type. There are only 3 types. So it's an example of, like, one of the things you can do on the cloud. I can save information. Okay, what type of service do I need to save information? Oh, you can use Google Drive, you can use WeTransfer, you can use OneDrive, you can use and so on and so forth. In all those places that you can save things, you can use Apple, what do they call it? Apple iCloud, right? So do you get it now? So Google Drive alone cannot be a type. Do you get? So it's just it's a type of, they call it platform as a service. That's PaaS. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So now 3 types of cloud computing. Are we still together?
Yes,
I need
we
2
are, sir.
voices. One, I need 1 more person.
We're together.
Okay,
Actually,
so Mr.
question.
Olatunbo wants to ask a question. Okay.
Yes, according to the first page, that's what is cloud computing. I just want to chip in 1 or 2 things so that some people might not be confused.
Okay.
When I first heard about cloud computing, my mind was not really aligned with what the lecturer was trying to explain, because I'm a student of computer science. So the basics of what cloud computing can do is not cannot be really measured, because there are people that actually list out these characteristics for vendors or users to make use of it. Like for instance, now Google, they are one of the people that list out these characteristics. You have Amazon as well, and I think you have Google, Amazon, and there are some
Microsoft.
top three. Yeah, Microsoft. So those are the top three like key stakeholders in cloud computing that give out all these characteristics for either developers, users, vendors to make use of this platform to create either an application, a service, or anything. So as I mentioned, the use is wide and it's not measurable. So I believe what I can actually put at the back of my mind while trying to understand cloud computing is that, do I have a service like maybe Facebook.com that I'm willing to render to the world? Because where I came from in school, they were like, do you have a service to solve people's problem in the world? And I'm just looking like, okay, just give me like 1 or 3 years or 5 years, I'll think of something. So that's just how it boils down with cloud computing. But although it still has some general uses of thoughts, what I'm trying to say is that this definition you're giving in what is cloud computing, that's the first line. I think that's probably what you're trying to explain, if I'm not wrong, or you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're correct. But then, I said I was not going to jump ahead of myself. The part you mentioned now is one part. There are three major parts. Let me just quickly explain it. There is something we call IaaS, infrastructure as a service, right? There is PaaS, that's platform as a service, right? The third one is SaaS, software as a service. The one you've been talking about, the one you were taught in school, that's software as a service. As a fractional part of what cloud can do. So you're saying something around having a product, having a service. I've built this Uber-like app that what it does is it takes you from point A to point B. I want people to be able to access it. It is a software. They don't necessarily have to install it. They can install it too, but they have to be able to access it from all over the world as a software as a service. Infrastructure as a service. You see, again, not to confuse anybody, but just imagine that you can have your own system on the internet. That's infrastructure as a service. Every other thing, platform as a service, software as a service, at the abstract level, at the high level of it, depends on infrastructure as a service. Let me explain. All these terminologies that we're using, I didn't want to use them so that I won't confuse people. But all these terminologies basically means that you have a platform. No, you have an infrastructure. When you say infrastructure, if you have been to a server room before, you have a server, you have your firewall, you have your network cables, you have, and so on and so forth. Those are infrastructures. Those are physical infrastructures. Everything you are saying there can be replicated online. You get everything you are seeing there can be replicated online, and that's an infrastructure as a service. Now, when you have designed your server, you have done all the preparation and all, you can now start installing things on it. Now, you now have things like PaaS, that's PaaS, platform as a service. You can now have things like software that you want people to access. But then, let's not go into all the nitty-gritty. Do we get it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, so I was explaining that we have three types of cloud computing. We have private, we have public, and we have hybrid. Private, okay, let's start from public. Public is just what it means. Public cloud computing. Basically, what does it mean? Anybody from anywhere can use it. That does not make it free. Nope, it does not. But it means there are no restrictions to the access. So, and just like what our brother said earlier, we have three major providers. Of course, we have a lot of providers, We have Microsoft. What Microsoft call their own cloud computing is Azure. AZRE, Azure. That's like um the most used infrastructure as a service. I just want you to flow along, right? So when they say infrastructure, you're talking about laptops, you're talking about server, you're talking about hard drive, you're talking about things that you can see physically, but then it has now been replicated on the internet. So they have the largest share when it comes to IaaS. And that would basically, I don't know, but that would basically be because Microsoft owns Windows. And Windows is the most used OS in the whole wide world. So well, on the system. On mobile, Android is the most used. So on the system, Windows has, I think, like 79% or so back then. I don't know now. So everybody wants to develop things for Windows. Everybody wants, so people align with them more on that. Now, when you're talking about SaaS, that's SaaS, software as a service, AWS has upper hand. I'm talking about public clouds now. AWS is a product by Amazon, the same Amazon that will buy things from Amazon, so they have their own Amazon Web Service as AWS. And the third one, the third giant in the game, though they're calling themselves giants, is GCP. GCP is Google Cloud Platform, right? Google too is trying. All of them they're all trying. They can do everything. All of them can do everything. They do all. Now, how they achieve it now differs. So those are the three major ones. Then we have the likes of Oracle. Oracle has been doing well too. OCI, that's Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And then we have IBM. IBM to have their own, but those are just public cloud. Basically, you can go there and then set up whatever it is you want to set up, pay them, and boom, you are there without any problem. And anybody from anywhere, you can send a link, you can share things, you can give people RGP connection, and they will be able to access it from anywhere. That's public cloud. And we're talking about private cloud. It's more of internal use. So for those that are working in our various companies, we all have cloud setup in a way. It might not be so exquisite, it might not be so big, but then you have it set up. Your company has it. Things around how you share files cannot go beyond this vicinity. That's private cloud. Now, some companies take it a step higher where they would buy infrastructure, buy servers, buy everything, install them physically. They have a server room where prepared and all. That one too is still part of private cloud. That means it is not open to everybody, open to a selected few. If you don't know the IP address, if you don't know how to access it, if you don't have the right credential, you cannot access it. Do we get the difference between public and private now?
Yes.
Okay, so now hybrid. Hybrid is hybrid. All these words, they are self-explanatory. Hybrid means a mixture of the two. And usually it's companies that does hybrid. For instance, if let's say InterSwitch wants to do hybrid now, they would have physical servers on their premise, and then they will still have a leg, probably with Azure or with AWS, Amazon, or Google Cloud or Oracle. So they have that there are setups like that. So basically, what that does is it makes their services robust. So that means if there's any downtime at any point in time, any one of the two can pick up. Do you get? So just a brief let's continue. Benefit of cloud computing. We've talked about this cost efficiency. Cost efficiency in the way that you have control over how you want to spend. If you want to get a good laptop, emphasis on good laptop, now you'll be spending nothing less than 1 million. A good laptop, I'm not saying laptop. And then that's just a laptop. But if you want to get a server, you're saying 4 million, 5 million. And then you would look at running the server 24/7. You look at the expertise that you have to employ. You look at the network layer, firewall, and all those things. By the time you calculate it, you're looking at maybe startup alone, you're spending 10 million or 12 million just to buy those things. But then if you consult these guys, you might spend way, way lesser than that, and it won't take you time. So that's cost efficiency. Scalability. Scalability basically means you can increase or decrease at will. So for instance, let me use a very common example. If you write JAMB or okay, you don't write JAMB. If people write JAMB or they write WAEC and all, and maybe they write WAEC, they wrote WAEC 2 months ago, and then they're saying they want to release WAEC this month. That means a whole lot of people will be going to their site, right? You can, if you are the person there, you can basically just scale it up and say, oh, okay, what we're currently running is 12 gigabyte of RAM, but because we would have more traffic, let us increase it a bit. You get, so scalability can, and then after the examination, whatever, you can bring it down. Flexibility, you can do and undo. You can install different OSs. Disaster recovery, just like the example of InterSwitch I gave, that if they have hybrid setup, if the one physically, if NEPA does what it does or what they do, the way our guy does not have lights now. If NEPA does what they do, they will just automatically switches to the cloud without any issue. Collaboration efficiency, anywhere you are, you can reach it. Now, this is what I was explaining. Okay, somebody has his hand up. All that was, please go on.
Yes, concerning the scalability. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to just at least try and understand. So I came up with a concept. For instance, now you're talking of cloud computing, and you said it's like hosting your laptop on the internet, like having another laptop on the internet.
Yeah, and infrastructure, yes.
So now people can now access that particular laptop. Different people, more people, like maybe various number of people, because you gave the JAM, for instance. So now you have like 10,000 students coming to just that one laptop, and each of them, they are opening tabs.
Okay.
So now the power of all those tabs to be opened at once means that the system must be powerful.
Yes.
You gave like cost efficiency, that you must have an expensive laptop, like the one you are building. So now what you're trying to explain is that more than 10,000 students will open tabs on that particular system, and it must run good and give back response. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm getting it now. I'm getting it. Thank you.
Now, what you just explained now is infrastructure. That's one arm of it. Let me move to the next screen. That's infrastructure as a service. That's if they are using that your, in quote, laptop in that way. Now, if Jambyte, so to say, are just checking results, it's another thing. Just like what I think you were the one that said it earlier, we cannot dive deep into everything cloud. This is something that people spend years learning. You get? So if, for instance, all they are going to do is jam.org.ng/result checking, they're not opening tabs, but basically they're calling a service. Now, to go back to your analogy, if you have 10,000 people calling a service and you don't have enough resources, it will drag, it can even shut down completely. So that's where the scalability comes in. You say, oh, okay, we would have to also number of users. And this is to my sister again now. This is where basic small maths now comes in. Just small. An understanding of maths goes a long way, right? But then you look at it that, okay, I believe most of us know how to check speed on our phone, speed test. If your phone is dragging, then you go on Google, you type speed test, and then you go on Google on that laptop, so to say. I'm using laptop. I don't want to use server, so it won't sound or complex. And then you go on Google, and then you're checking speed. See something around let's say 15 Mbps up, 15 Mbps down. 15 Mbps up means 15 Mbps download or upload rather, Mbps megabyte per second. 15 Mbps down means 15 megabyte per second download. You now do a basic head calculation that if this laptop is having 15 Mbps up and down, and then I have, let's even use 1,000 users accessing it. What does that mean? That means people will be, basically, each user will be using around 0.00015 kilobyte. It can't even be kilobytes, maybe bytes per second. That means your laptop your service will be so slow. So that's why you now, okay, I think I need to nudge this thing up a bit. And then the truth of the matter is, well, not in all cases, but it is very, very rare for 10,000 people to eat your service at a time. It varies. It can be 8 plus, it can be 7 plus, it can be 6 plus, it can be 2 plus. and so on and so forth. So I'm just trying to bring it down so that you can get there. The scalability means you can predict, and even in unforeseen situations, circumstances and all that you cannot predict, when it starts happening, you can quickly scale up and scale down. So I've explained what IaaS means, I've explained what PaaS means, and I've explained what software as a service. Now, this is deployment models. It looks like types of cloud. You look at them and be like, what's the difference? Basically, the only odd one out here is community. Again, when you say something is public cloud, accessible to everybody, that means when you want to deploy on it, you are deploying to the whole wide world. Of course, even on the public cloud, you can still seclude certain things. Okay, no, if you don't have this VPN on, if you don't have this thing on, you cannot access this. I'm sure most of us will be used to VPN. That time that they blocked Twitter, that's like the most relative one that we have. They blocked Twitter in Nigeria. At least all of us are in Nigeria, maybe not. I don't know. They blocked Twitter in Nigeria, and the people started downloading all sorts of things. Wireshark went, everybody Shark became cybersecurity expert overnight. That way you're able to bypass, because it would show the Nigerian SEC as if it would show them, this guy is coming from UK, this guy is coming from, yes, you are in Abule Egba. So public is public, private is basically within a controlled environment. Community now, you know what hybrid 2 is. Community means different people or different organizations coming together to form a consortium. If you look at VI, the way VI is, if Nigeria was really, really, really bubbling and all, the way VI is, there are a lot of companies on the island. A lot. 3, 4, 5 companies can come together and say, we want to form a community cloud. For a single company to run a cloud infrastructure, it will cost, let's say 12 million. Oh, no, 12 million is actually very small. Let's say 50 million per year. And then we're now saying, okay, let's come together. If we break this thing down, 5 companies coming together, that means we'll be spending like 10 million. It's cheaper, and then they would achieve the purpose. What does it mean? They come together to put resources together. People that will bring server will bring server, the ones that will bring firewall will bring firewall, the one that will bring network gateway, everything, and then they will basically host it somewhere, and all their services will be pointing to that place. Do we get it? Do we get it's like a family arrangement? You're saying, okay, you are into food business, you are into clothing business, you are into freight business, and so on and so forth. Okay, you need service online. So, okay, let's all come together and buy internet. Something as basic as that. Let's buy internet. So we are using it, we're drawing from the same source. That's how community cloud is. Okay, we're almost at the end. In case you have any questions, please let me know. Now, common cloud providers, we have AWS, we mentioned it. AWS is Amazon products, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, GCP, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud. There are that too. There is Heroku, there is and so on and so forth. There are a few others, but I think there is even one in Nigeria too. Not even one. There are quite a number in Nigeria too, but they didn't make it to the list. Okay, the next slide. Use cases. Okay, sorry, you have your hands up.
Yes, community cloud. I want to know more about it. Does it mean that I'm not using any of the popular ones like the
Yes, you're
Azure
not.
and
Yes, you're not. That's where private, if you go back, we have private cloud. You can configure everything yourself. You can. Where I worked before I joined where I am working now, everything from A to Z. Now we do have. Of course, that does not mean you're still using Windows. You're using Windows, but you're not using Azure. The way Microsoft has built, that's why they are called trillion-dollar company. The way they've built their product, all of them can work together in sync, and they can all work individually. Do you get? So you don't necessarily have to join Azure if you have Windows Server license. You don't necessarily have to be a guru for you. So, for you to use 1 minute, please. Okay. For you to set up privately, you must be a guru to an extent. You must know a few things about security, about networking, about systems administration. But if you're doing Azure, well, You don't necessarily have to. Of course, being able to know what to reduce and what to increase do matters, but you can just, for testing purposes, you can do it. Do you get? So that's how community now comes in that, okay, you have your own system administrator, I have my own system administrator, you have your own network engineer, I have my, let's come together now. What do we have to, what will it cost us? Do you get the context? So you are not relaying back to Azure or back to AWS or back to GCP or anybody. You're just doing it internally. Are we good?
Yes, and I also need to confirm, this community cloud, does it need to, like, do I need to know about DevOps? I don't know if you've heard of DevOps before.
Yes, I heard of them.
Do I need to be a master of DevOps for me to have this community cloud knowledge or?
If you truly understand what I'm saying, when it comes to community cloud, it is not one person. It's a consortium. It's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 500 people, organizations coming together and saying we want to have our own cloud. So when it now comes to cloud, when you've set up the infrastructure, now the things you want to start using the cloud for, that's where, tech, maybe I should spend the next few minutes just explaining what tech is. A very, 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 very interesting field. All fields and subfields in tech are all interrelated. We all need each other. Database administrator needs data analysis. Data analyst rather need data scientists need a machine learning engineer. We all need ourselves. So everybody can fit in. So a DevOps engineer can fit in when or if the service the community wants to be rendering involves them. Do you get it? So it is not a for me for no for us to be part of a community cloud, I must know DevOps. No, 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 no. You can just know how to set it up. Someone else will know how to do the cloud. In fact, will know how to do the DevOps if the services you are rendering require DevOps. Now, when they say DevOps, what does it mean? DevOps means developers operation. So DevOps is like the middleman between development and operation team. When you say operation team, you're talking about sales, you're talking about product managers, product owners, product designs. So you need a man, or you need gender neutral. You need somebody in between that would bring the idea from the operations team. The operations teams are the ones that will generate the idea. Hey, so I want a product that can track vehicles even in the water. They will bring all the ideas, okay, and then these guys would say, the developers will say, okay, we have written the code for you, and then this one, the man in the middle, the DevOps guy will be the one to automate the process. There are a lot of things that are involved. DevOps is like cybersecurity in the sense that it involves multiple things. Cybersecurity too, you need to know networking to an extent. You need to know system administration to an extent. You need to know security itself to an extent. You get? So it's like you're in the middle of the tree. So that's how it is for DevOps too. For DevOps, you need to know development to an extent. You need to know systems administration to an extent. You need to know even networking to an, because DevOps is interestingly wide. So many tools. So many. In fact, I can even tell you that as it is right now, it seems DevOps is like the most tooled. How do I put it? I don't know if there's any word like that, but when it comes to using multiple tools, DevOps is very, very, very annoying. You're learning of Kafka, you're learning Kubernetes, you're learning Azure, you're learning Git, you're learning Bitbucket, just plenty things. Docker, Linux. So yeah, that's what DevOps is, and that's so back to this place, and then we've talked about the common cloud providers. Now, use cases, startup, basically anything you can think of. This list is very small. Anything you can think of, just like my sister said concerning Google Cloud, yes, it's still part of it. Is an example, right? So it is not a versus. You're not doing cloud computing or Google Cloud, or cloud computing or what's the other one? Microsoft OneDrive. No, no, no. It's part of, it's an example. Yeah. Now, these are the challenges. If everybody's saying come to cloud computing, what do we, security concerns majorly, for someone that is, let's come back to the Google Cloud now. A Google Drive is as simple as it is. Someone that is used to having all our photos, all our pictures on our phone, and then you're now pitching it to the person that move your photos to Google Photos now. The person would get worried. Well, maybe not in this part of the world that we don't even save any confidential things like that. But for instance, maybe you've snapped things and then security concerns. What happens? I don't have control over this thing. What if, security concern is a major one. Downtime. What happens if Google goes down? Very, very unlikely. But what happens if? So those are the things that people come up with. Those are the concerns. Limited control and flexibility. Yes, you can only do as much as they allow you. Considering the fact that you are not the owner of the you don't even know where the infrastructure is sitting. Compliance and legality. Yeah, there are some things in Nigeria, and Mr. Ferdinand is bearing me witness. There are things in Nigeria that you cannot host outside the shore of Nigeria. Certain services that you cannot host outside the shore. And then doesn't even bash Nigeria. Most of these companies cannot come into Nigeria to come and host a data center here because we don't have light. So that means it's what it is. So, yeah, the key points, there are different types of cloud computing, there are different deployment models, and then we have a few examples of them, and the things you can do. Let me tell you point blank, the things you can do with cloud computing is limitless. It is limitless. Anything you can imagine that you can do on your system can be done online. Yeah. Thank you very much. Do we have any other question, contribution, thoughts? Anything?
Good evening, Mr. Isaac.
Sir.
Okay, as regards cloud computing, I remembered some years ago, Sony to be precise, I think a movie or something was hacked by some hackers in the cloud. And that made so many people very scared of this cloud thing about security and the like. So now, after a few years, I know they must have developed, but that concern of security is still prominent in the mind of people that if they can do such thing to Sony with all the technical know-how they have, then nobody is safe online. So as regards security, number one, has there been any major improvement to people's safety and information? That's one. Number two, you talk about infrastructure, and I know that all these things we do are stored in the cloud, say in someone's server or so on and so forth. Now, what happens to my information if, say, for example, my information is domiciled on someone's server, and then the person decides to, let me just say, pack up, the company packs up, will my data be lost? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's start from the security concern. I'm just going to be very quick. Off record, right? Nowhere is safe. Even offline is not safe. It's God that is protecting everybody at the end of the day. Nowhere is safe. Nowhere. But then, one of the things that made these companies, let me scroll back to those guys, those big money eaters. You see these 5 companies, one of the things that made them this popular and this prominent in the cloud world is how secure they are. And then more often than not, they'll tell you their downtime is 99.9% uptime, that nothing, they cannot go down. If I'm going to ask you, if me as a person, maybe I'm staying in Ajegunle and I'm saying, don't worry, I want to start a company visually on cloud computing, server of residents in Ajegunle, don't worry, your uptime is secured. And then someone from Microsoft pitches to you and say, come and save your things with us. And then me, I'm saying, come and save your things with us. Basically, you look at both of us, You will not even consider money at this point. Just look at the integrity of both sides. Say, I'll go with Microsoft. You will not look at me and say, oh, this boy is a Nigerian, I will trust him. No. Because you know that they have been doing it. Now, all these incidences, all these issues they've had over time, Sony, they have issues every time. Let me just tell you point blank. They have issues over time, all the time rather. But issues they've been having, it is the learning curve for them. So they learn, they drill down, and then they discover what the issue is. Oh, okay, this was what caused this. This was what caused this breach. Let us patch it. That's why even on your phone, I remember one tweet I saw one time that somebody was saying that why are we updating Apple app, Bible app on our phone? Is it that Eve has eaten another Apple again? No. That's not all there is to updating apps. So when you update apps, you're patching security, you're doing security patch, you're doing this, dependencies. There's so many things that are facing out over time. And then that's why certain phones that cannot operate certain applications. For instance, if you look at WhatsApp, over time you see after so number of years, they'll tell you, please move your phone or move your WhatsApp from so phone to so phone. We will not be supporting it again. I don't know if they support iPhone 6, but I know there was a time they completely knocked off iPhone 5. Right? So that's why they keep upgrading this thing. They are learning. We're all learning. Nothing is safe. Take it as it is. But then their safety, the number of times they've shown up or come through is way more than the number of times they've messed up. All of them. Amazon, Microsoft, Azure, anything. Think of anyone. Yes, issue can come in. Human nature or human error rather can come in. Somebody can want to deal with the company, would expose whatever it is that is not supposed to expose to the dark web, and then people would go and find loopholes and all. But it is very, 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 very unlikely. So I'm not going to say anything is 100% safe, but at the same time, these guys have gone way ahead. That's on the security part. On the other part of companies folding up, it still boils down to who you are hosting it with. And then that's why I think there's a place I mentioned, disaster recovery, right? Yeah. That's why it is advisable that you don't even save your things on one platform alone. Just one platform. And that's why, as it is, on your phone, your contact is saved on Google. It's saved on your phone. So if your phone decides to pack up tomorrow, in fact, there are instances that your contact is saved on your SIM too. If your phone decides to pack up tomorrow, you just buy another phone and then you install the Google, and then boom, you have your contacts again. If Google packs up tomorrow, you have a copy of it on your phone, but it's very unlikely for Google to pack up. At the end of the day, right? Nothing is 100% guaranteed. That's just the answer. Thank you very much. Do we have any other question? I think that I would need to jump now.
Yeah, so good
Okay.
evening.
Yes, ma. Go on. Let me see
Okay,
tomorrow.
sir.
Yeah, speaking. Hello.
Yeah, can you
Yes, sir. Because most of the terms used are new to me. It's like you're speaking in an unknown tongue to me. Sorry to
that's why I
get
kept using laptop, all those things that we are used to.
yes, it's strange to me. Well, my question is, I took my laptop to someone to help me check the system updates, and he told me that I need to work on the speed. He actually told me that I can't change upgrade it from from 2007, I think, to 2008 or 10, something like that. And I told me now to increase the speed. I don't know, most of these people are not being sincere. I don't know if it's possible to increase the speed like he have said, sir. Or is there anything I can install to increase the
Okay,
speed?
the example I gave of increasing speed was if you have your things on the cloud, right? It's quite easy to scale. Now, to now answer your question, that is it possible to increase speed on laptop? It is possible. It's quite possible. Sometimes they're more expensive. Person can go as far as changing the drive entirely. So most old laptops, came with HDD. HDD is hard disk drive. Hard disk drive over time has proven to be problematic. Not really problematic, but over time, it's like a disc. The way we have CD-ROMs at home, CD players at home. That over time the face will start scratching, and then the speed would slow down, and so that's how HDD works too. Over time, it slows down and then start coming up with different lagging problems. So the person can change that to SSD. It will cost you money. That's one way. Another thing is
Sorry, sir. To what, sir? To SS what?
SSD, solid
SSD.
solid state drive, right? That one is faster. Person can
To exchange the RAM.
Thank you,
sorry,
sir.
didn't get that.
No, I'm not the one speaking. I think somebody is speaking.
Can as well change the RAM.
Yes,
The
person
RAM
can
speed.
not speed now, size, right? So the person can increase the size. So if it's currently 4 gig, the person can take it to 8 gig. If it's currently 8 gig, the person can take it to 16. Now, that one has caveats, right? If your system is 32 bits, I think the highest you can use, I really can't remember now. It has plenty of calculation, but the highest you can use is like 32 gig. Can't go more than that. But if your system is 64 bits, you can go as high as you want. So, but the major thing, the major determinants when it comes to speed is the drive sitting in it. Especially when you're not running anything. RAM has to do with when you're running things. Random access memory is just temporary. But if you are not running anything and then it's still slow, starting up is taking forever, that's your drive is out of it. Okay. Any other thing?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you, Maoga. Me, I had to bring up my paper and biro.
That reminds me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah,
We're very
it was
grateful.
Thank you
very
very
nice.
much, sir. We are grateful,
Nice
sir.
day.
Even though that I just informed him a couple of days, it was even 2 days ago that I informed him of this training, and
Wow.
you gave us this kind of value. Thank you so much, boss. We are grateful. Grateful.
Thank you
So,
very
yeah, thank you, boss. Thank you.
So I will be going. Thank you.
All right,
Nice.
thank you.
Yeah.
Careful.
Okay. So I don't know if there are still questions from the previous weeks or even this week. If you have any question, remember it later. You can drop it on our WhatsApp platform, and if I cannot answer you, I'll get him to also answer. Okay, I think that's it basically. Then next week we're going to be talking about IT support. All right, we're going to be talking about IT support. So we also get another person to also talk to us about IT support and troubleshooting. I'm sure that we've heard troubleshooting. What is troubleshooting? Troubleshooting is as simple as it's just from the word you can derive the meaning. There's a trouble on your system and you're searching for what caused the trouble. So we'll have those two topics like next week. So I expect that whether you are an IT person or not, it's going to be useful to you because our systems usually have issues. And we learn how to troubleshoot and resolve some of those issues next week. Then the IT support part too, we also deal with that. So like I've always said, according to the analogy of I don't have money, but what I have is what I give to you. You need to connect that we've been able to build as a result of our work. So I'm bringing them to you, and we're expecting that we're making out from all of these resources. And at the end of the day, it will all make sense to look back and say, yes, during that training, this was what I gained. Fine, most of these topics that we're introducing are topics that you cannot really grasp just from a 2 hours lecture. Really, you can't. It's not possible. All we're doing is to just lay a proper foundation and spike your learning ability to want to say, okay, I want to even delve deeper into this topic and learn more about it. So that's the idea basically. I don't know if there are still concerns or questions. If not, I think we are good to go for today. So we look forward to next week. We'll get somebody to speak to us about IT support and troubleshooting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We really appreciate
Go on. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Ferdinand, please, I look forward to connecting with Mr. Isaac maybe after this class. I don't know if he
No
has
problem. No problem. Just remind me. I would share his contact. I know that it's an area that you are very much interested in, and he's a very, 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 very intelligent guy when it comes to cloud computing. In fact, he handles my company's infrastructure. He's the head of networks and systems. So he's a very rich resource. If you have a challenge around that, I'll connect you guys, and I'm sure that you will be able to. You will offer assistance.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
No problem.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So in case there are any other questions, we can drop on the chat box. Let's good night, everybody, and see you guys on Thursday. We are gradually running down on the program. Just 2 more weeks, and we're good. So at this point, this is almost 80% of the entire process. I expect that some of us would have started building up a lot of stuff around what we've been teaching and training us on. Thank you so much, guys. On this note, I don't know if my chief host has anything to say. If not, we can call it a night. It's not even online, so I can end the meeting. Permission to go, right? Can we go?
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. You appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you,
good
everybody.
night, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you.
Wow.